We want everyone to succeed. And so this is the great thing about the United States of America, Steve, is that we get to live where we can see a peaceful transition without a shot fired.
Well, again, we live in a see, what people don't understand is we live in a constitutional republic. If they would understand that that's the form of government we have, things would make a lot more sense to you, because that's how they are going to operate it according to the law. That's the law they have to abide by, right?
It is.
And triune government, it's based on a republic idea. That's the whole idea is that the republic, is bound together by a common set of standards that we make laws against.
I think I loved the one part in his speech that he said, he says, as it's said in the field of battle, there's neither brown nor black nor white, because all patriots bleed red. And I think that is, it's a refreshing. I think that we're about to see something that no one in the world has ever experienced before. This man is beholden to no one. That's why he was such a threat.
Well, it's the establishment, and again, everybody recognizes, even the mainstream media. I was watching on Fox News today, and they were commenting on, in the live coverage, they were commenting on that, that Donald Trump comes in, President Trump comes in as a establishment buster. Like him or hate him, that was Bernie's message too, everybody.
I don't think that him and Trump are that far apart.
But Bernie couldn't make it through the gauntlet.
No, and that's really what it is. It's a gauntlet. And listen,
I think you're not tough enough to go through the gauntlet, then he shouldn't have been president.
Well, that's the point. And you make a good point, is that Donald J. Trump is beholden to neither party. You don't think that this man will come out and absolutely roast the Republicans?
Paul Ryan and Donald Trump are not best buddies.
Yeah, but Donald Trump is a deal maker. I thought it was interesting when he was signing executive orders. A lot of this is the normal process of the transference of power. And Nancy was there. And I know the Pelosi family. And I thought it was great, because here is that point of, she really did demonstrate, and Nancy Pelosi, my hat's off to you, because she really did demonstrate why at this particular point, that at this moment, there is a coming together of the unity of the United States of America, we the people. And it was funny because President Trump is a very, very cordial man. And when he looked up, he immediately saw Nancy Pelosi standing there, and he gave her the pen, and he says, "Here, this could be yours." And Miss Pelosi came back and immediately said, "Well, the proper protocol would be for you to give this to the Speaker of the House." It was just wonderful, Steve. It was just a conversation in that snapshot in history for me that I just grinned. It was just, it's something that the world should see. And I hope if we could take that same cordialness and go forward, Steve, there's nothing our country won't do.
Well, and again, I don't mean to be preachy, okay?
But that's what you do. Yeah. We love you.
Yeah, but I don't want to be preachy, but let's just put it this way, okay? It really doesn't matter what happened anymore in the campaign. What we have to do is, and I think what we need to focus on is, what do we all agree on? And I think the first thing that most Americans agree on is that the financial system is just pounding Americans to death.
It's a yoke. I mean.
And then the other yoke is the tax system.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. My good friend Paula White, who was up there and who was part of the opening benediction, she has told President Trump about Proverbs, and you heard of the president quote directly from Proverbs. And you're right, Steve. It's a yoke, this debt that we did yesterday. I got such favorable comments when people were realizing, how do you fund $107 trillion? I don't
Probably
know.
what Wayne is referring to is that these are unfunded mandates. In other words, things that are committed to be spent that are, that there's a promise for, but don't have money backing them up. The United States unfunded, called the unfunded mandate pool is at $105 trillion. That's what, Wayne, you're talking about, right?
Yes, what I am talking about. So we have to have a radical approach. Listen, I thought was real interesting on the inauguration committee. They came in ahead of schedule and under budget. When he did, and I think this is what we're going to see is, again, you and I, listen, I was thinking about this earlier. If you were 12 years old when President Obama took office, today you would be 20, 21. All you've known is what the policies that we've had, and this is the problem. We can't, if you and I were citizens doing this, they throw us in jail for bank fraud.
Well, see, the thing of it is that people need to wake up that this is basically the dashboard for the 5 main banks in the United States.
Yeah, and when you have a
Right.
lot of paper, here's the other thing, Steve, and I'm glad that we did this. I thank you for bringing this up. And so, folks, allow me just to give you a second here. What the United States has been doing since 2011, that's when it first started, is that the Federal Reserve began to buy back our own bonds. That's called monetizing the debt. And we have been under that policy for some 6 years now. And the problem with monetizing the debt, if you want to see where it can go, look at Venezuela. And that's the problem we're facing. I think it is, in fact, by divine intervention that we have a businessman who is successful. He turns around damaged properties and makes them superstars. It is my hope and my prayer, along with many people like you, Steve, as well, that he is successful.
I am praying for him. Absolutely. I don't want him to be just another cog in the wheel. I want the United States to return to some, let's call it dignity.
Yeah.
That's
and listen, all. And if there is a brown dwarf heading towards us, if we are in fact what I think, we may already be in another potentially effects of another solar system. Listen, these stars, brown, white, yellow, black, whatever it is, they carry objects around them. It's how the universe works. You can see it everywhere.
Right.
And my deep concern is that I don't know if the story of the bronze books are true. I happen to think that those scribes were not making that up. I happen to think that the Chinese were not making it up. So I have to assume there is something most likely going to be coming through. Is it in my lifetime, your lifetime, Steve, my children's, my grandchildren? I don't know. But evidence shows that something's been here. I look at this is the disaster. I think we may be able to be saved from this. I'm not so sure about that which is coming in.
Well, again, I always am going to try to be the optimist. I call it good cop, bad cop, whatever you want to call it. I believe that that there is hope as long as we stick together.
Yes.
As long as we keep ripping each other apart, it's going to be rough.
Well, you know how I feel on that, my friend.
I know you do. I know. And if you want to express it, you can go ahead, but I would just keep that private, my friend.
Because I think we as we close here, I think that what we have here is a jubilee.
Right.
And I view this peaceful transfer of government, that maybe it's a hope like the New Year's Day, is that we could have a jubilee period for this country. That's what my hope is. And I believe that, Steve, if we can wake up out of this malaise that we've come into, where we attack people instead of loving them, where instead of looking for faults, we look for forgiveness.
Yep.
And in looking for a cause against them, we actually calm them. That's what I say, Steve, and that's what my hope is. And I hope that what you and I, as we set out on this, that's what we can bring as well.
Right on. And again, look for also the links below to the white papers that we're talking about. A couple new ones we'll be putting up. We encourage you to read them and think about them. And if you have any questions, send your questions to olson.steven.d@gmail.com for now. But Wayne and I soon will have our own, for this Steiger-Olson report, we will have our own email and everything like that, and our own process and everything, because this is an adventure that Wayne and I are going to commit to and try to grow it as ethically and as quickly as we can.
Yes, I'm looking forward to this. And listeners, the success is based on what you want as well. I'd like to know, what is it that people look for? I have people who have said they really like the Ask the Physicist, that it allows them to have something that they can tell their friends, their family, and say, well, here's a person who's actually tenured. See?
Yeah.
Tell us what you like. Tell us what you want more of.
Right. And we will wish you all great